So I was recording for several years at this point. I mean, as a hobby, like maybe a decade, but only like 5 or 6 years as a professional have I been engineering bands at this point. This is the first real serious metal recording that I worked on. I mean, these guys to me were nuts. Like it was unbelievable, like what they were. You had to look at what they were doing to really hear what they were doing because it was so fast, and it was so maniacal and unpredictable. And anyway, I really enjoyed it, so I really wanted to join the band because they never had a bass player. And um, engineering it was really interesting because I remember during one playback, I was not expecting this at all. James, the drummer, he's like, "Hey, baby, you gotta stop." And when we listened to it back, and we're trying to figure out what the problem is with this one thing, and he asked me, he points out, we finally get to it, this little kick drum, this one kick drum, and we zoom in on it, and we what's the word when you make one thing biased, we isolate it, we cut it out, and he's just like, okay, now move it to the left. So I move it backward in time, a tiny bit, very very tiny, and I'm thinking like, you're nuts. And I hit play, and he's like, okay, now move it back the other way, and I move it back, and like we're trying to find the perfect spot for this one little kick drum. And after like 15 to 20 minutes, he's satisfied. Like I hit play, and he's like, yeah, that's good now. All right, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, you're crazy. We just spent 15 minutes on moving this one kick drum, this brief instant in time. Like it's gone, man. But but I had to take his word for it because he's living in the metal world. He's living that life. He's listening to that music. He's out there. He's doing it. And I wasn't. Um, so I had to take his word for it. And the so that continued. Every once in a while, there would be some kind of edit that we would have to make, really precise things because you got to go for precision. It's just, the thing you can't. It's if you listen to metal all the time, you get to have a really precise perception of little brief instant moments in time. It really sharpens your mind in a way. And so through the editing process of some of this metal, it was really it wasn't long before I was able to start picking out stuff. I would be like, hey, stop, that one, listen, and I would move a little thing, and he's like, wow, you're right, it's better that way. And maybe that's why the Third Visions of record took like a long time to make, but we just had to do it, because it was the first time for me that a recording was going to take longer. Recordings either happened in one night or they happened within a few sessions during the following weeks, a reasonable amount of time. It was the first time that one would last for a long time, not because people were fucking up and doing it over and over again, but because we wanted to take what we already had and just continually, uh, you know, just force it to be better, less bad. Okay, because that's I learned after a while when you're editing, when you're trying to fix drums, a lot of times you're like listening really hard, you're straining to hear, you're trying too hard to hear these tiny little details. It's either going to come to you or not. Let your body listen to the music. Let it come to you. You just kind of relax and you play it. And you try to dance to it. And if for some reason, like when you're trying to connect with the music, that's when you're more likely to notice that something will feel wrong. And don't get too lost in magnifying and looking for mistakes. You should only fix something if it bothers you. And if it doesn't bother you, then don't worry about it. Just keep going. But you should really consider engineering some metal because it really tightens up your wow. Like it's kind of insane actually. It's really hard to enjoy music sometimes because you can hear it. Imagine zooming in on every single beat uh, as it's like flying by you. And if something is just everybody has varying degrees of how far or close two sounds have to be before they're considered on or not, because there is no such thing as perfect timing. It's an illusion. It's an abstraction. It's no, it's definitely real. There's such a thing as perfect timing, but no human can have perfect timing. We name one person who you believe is perfect. Use them doing it on the microscope. They're only going to be really, really close. Oh, and I know you can see this on the camera, but that's not what you think it is. That's actually a nicotine stain. So yeah, I gotta take care of that. I gotta get some. It's been too long. Thanks for watching.